a legendary dry fly with unbeatable versatility. The Klinkhammer rides low, tempting trout with an irresistible silhouette. In this quick tutorial, I'll show you how to tie it step by step so you can fish it with confidence. Let's get started. All right, today we're going to tie a dry fly known as the Klinkhammer, and that's just because of the shape of the hook. It's really ends up being like an emerger, partial emerger pattern, where the top of the fly is going to be up on the surface of the water, and then the bottom half of the fly is going to be kind of sitting down in the film. So to do that, we're going to use a little bit of chartreuse parapost to make it nice and high vis. So the first thing I'm going to do is tie the post in. So it's going to take a strand of that, and I'm going to wrap it in, take some turns backward to get that really secured in, and then come back forward with those turns. Really want to lock that in. Then in the back, I'm going to snip that off flush. And then to make my post, what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist this. I'm going to double it over and make it into a really nice sturdy little post, as you can see here. So I'm going to tie that in, come behind, and then come back in front before I cut this part out. Got a few stragglers there that I'm going to get out of there. We don't want them. I'm going to go back with my thread and just kind of smooth that out. Now with this, you want to build a post that's a little sturdier. I'm going to build all of this ahead of time. I'm going to come back and tie in a hackle feather here in a little bit, but before I do that, I just want to build up a sturdy post, kind of get the foundation of this fly, the skeleton or the frame of it, I guess, kind of where I want it. So I'm going to even that little bump out there with my thread. I'm going to go back down the thread. No tail on this fly. We're just going to use dubbing, and I'm just going to start with a super fine dubbing here. This is the color of Quill Gordon. Normally you would use a quill for Quill Gordon, but this is the color that I'm going to use for the bottom of this fly. I'm going to change the dubbing color when we get up to the top, just to create a contrast, but I'm going to use some of this super fine dubbing and get that real thin noodle here so I can make a nice smooth body. Up to the post before I tie my hackle in. Alright, let's see if that's enough. Nice smooth turns. You can use all kind of different materials here. You can put a quill. You can even just use a thread body if you want. This is the part of the fly that's going to be under, kind of in the film. So for whatever hatch you're trying to match, you can match this color. But once I get it up to there, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a saddle hackle feather, and I'm going to get all this webby stuff off the bottom, kind of expose that stem, because that's what I want to tie in. And I'm going to make sure that the dull side of the feather is facing me, and I'm going to tie that stem in front of the post. I'm going to come back and I'm going to lift the feather up, and I'm going to tie it up the post to secure that in place. down. All right, so that's in place. That's ready to go. I'm going to snip this part off here. I'm going to bend that back. Get that out of there. And now I'm going to go with a darker color dubbing, like a dark olive. I play with combinations with this flies. I just like a contrasting dubbing. I like a lighter color and then a darker color, just to kind of create a little bit of contrast. So I'm not really trying in this fly. I'm more or less showing you how to tie the fly. This isn't really any particular pattern. It's just a generic, some generic colors that I know are usually effective, but I'm not trying to match any particular insect here. You use the dubbing colors and the materials that you want to use to try to match. If you want to try to do this, the blue wing olive, you have Hendrickson, you know, whatever it is you are trying to match. But I'm going to go with a slightly different color because I do like to have a contrast. So I'm going to start that behind the post. Get a nice little ball around that post. I'm going to come up to behind the eye of the hook, and I'm going to rest it there. Take a look at that, see how that looks. Looks pretty good. All right, now for this next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this out. There we go. All right, so I'm going to just, the first couple turns are the trickiest. Just hold that tension, keep that post tight. Now I'm going to wrap around, try to get 3 or 4 turns in here. All right, now that I've got that in, I'm going to bring my hackle around, try not to disturb. And I can go in with my scissors and I can see about then I'm just going to snip the top of that post off a little bit just to get it out. And there you have a Klinkhammer. This is just a great fly, parachute style. This top part of this fly sits flush on the surface. This part emerges, is where the emerger would sit down into the film. Just a great dry fly. So tie a bunch of these up, a bunch of different colors. Try to get a contrast with the body and the thorax area, and fish it hard. I think you'll like it.